Hi guys, so who is responsible for the delays at airports? Is it the airlines? Is it the airports themselves? Or is it Brexit? Well, according to the Express, it says here, airlines slammed for using Brexit as excuse for travel chaos. Ridiculous. So the Express, if you believe this, of course you believe this, is the Express. They ran a poll and they asked their readers who is responsible for the delays. Should Brexit be blamed? And overwhelmingly, 86% said no, and 14% say yes. And they actually asked some of the people who voted in this poll, and I'll get to an expert in a moment, but this is some of the people who commented on this poll. It says, copyright says, it's nothing to do with Brexit. The problems are being caused by the lack of manpower as a result of COVID, plus travel has opened up this year and the airports are being overwhelmed. Grim6 wrote, most of this was caused by the airlines and airports getting rid of staff, nothing to do with Brexit, just an excuse. And Bolly1 said, of course, it's not down to the mismanagement of the airports. It's not Brexit's fault. So, as you can imagine, the Express running a poll, and the poll obviously disagrees with reality, because this is what the head of Ryanair had to say instead.
We spoke to the government minister yesterday. You say it's to do with Brexit. He says that's absolute nonsense.
It's not. It's completely to do with Brexit. I mean, an awful lot of these pinch points would be resolved very quickly and very rapidly if we could bring in European workers to do the jobs that, frankly, people in the UK are not applying for and don't want to do. This has always been the way the UK has provided our manned and staffed its transport industry, and it is the way forward. If we can't attract people to do those jobs, like baggage handling, like security at the airports, we're going to have to bring in workers, whether it's from Ireland or from continental Europe, to do them. And Brexit is one of the big bugbears in the system. It has introduced enormous labour market inflexibility in the UK, and there are hundreds of thousands of jobs in the UK that, frankly, British workers don't want to do.
They don't want to do, but also they can't do because they're not near the location. So people may have the skills, but they live far away from the airports. And they don't want to move there because, well, the pay is not very good. So that's why it was easier before Brexit just to bring people in from abroad. They would stay there for 6 months or 12 months or whatever. They would be willing to do this work and then send some money back home. But obviously, because of the new restrictions and the ending of freedom of movement, that's no longer possible.
OK. How long do you see the problem continuing for?
I think this problem is going to continue, particularly at those airports like Gatwick and Heathrow, right throughout the summer. I mean, it will be worse at weekends. It will be better during the week. There are less problems at airports like Stansted. Ryanair is operating a full schedule. We're fully staffed with pilots and cabin crew. But even we last weekend suffered 24% of our flights were delayed by air traffic control delays. Another 15% of flights were delayed by airport and handling delays. So I think it is going to be a struggle through the summer. The airlines, the UK airlines, BA, EasyJet, TUI, Ryanair and others, we will get 90-95% of, well, Ryanair will get nearly 100% of our people to their destinations, albeit with delays, but it will be a less than satisfactory experience, and this problem will not be resolved until we start allowing European workers to come in and do the jobs that, frankly, UK people no longer wish to do.
I think the problem, of course, is because it's happening at the airports themselves. So it's not the airlines. Yes, part of the problem is also the airlines. But I think in the case of Ryanair, they don't have problems accessing staff because they're registered in Ireland. So if they're registered in Ireland, obviously part of the European Union, it's easier for them to access staff. So yes, they are flying into the UK. They're flying also out of the UK. But the staff, I'm willing to be corrected on this, but I think they have Irish contracts, so they don't actually have to worry about access to freedom. Freedom of movement does not affect Ryanair staff.
The government says it's the airline industry's fault, nothing to do with them. They gave you loads of money during COVID.
It's the government's response to everything. Look, this government couldn't run a sweet shop. I think in Grant Shapps has ably demonstrated that this morning. The airlines, Ryanair, we're fully staffed. we're not cancelling any flights. We expect to run a full schedule. In fact, we added 200 extra flights yesterday for the remainder of June and the early part of July to rescue passengers whose flights have been disrupted by cancellations being made by other airlines. And the problem here is not one of the airlines making. You've had this government, we've been locked up for 2 years. They introduced their bogus traffic light system that never made any sense and never worked during COVID. Just as we were emerging out of COVID, the Omicron variant, and we were locked down again over Christmas. As we emerge out of Christmas, we're beginning to recruit again, and then Russia invades Ukraine. And the problem here, the government believes the problem is the airlines. Look, the airlines want to fly passengers to their destinations. In Ryanair's case, we're fully staffed up. Stansted and many of our other airports in the UK are doing a great job. But we are hidebound and hamstrung by a government that is so desperate to show that Brexit has been a success when it's been an abject failure, will not allow us to bring in European workers to do these jobs.
He's right. They're desperate to show Brexit as a success, but it's been an abject failure because they can't bring in the staff. And I said this before, and we've seen it in select committees where business leaders have come forward, they've given evidence. Look, we can't operate because we need access to workers, be it airlines, be it meat producers, be it farmers, whatever. They can't get access to the workers they need. They've passed this on to the relative department, and this relative department should have passed on this request to the Home Office. But the Home Office don't want to ease up these restrictions because I don't know if it's ideological or if it's just hard-headedness, but the Home Office don't want to be seen opening up the borders, quote unquote, in a sense. They don't want to be seen allowing freedom of movement to return. It would help businesses, it would help the economy, but it would piss off the racists and the bigots, the ones who backed Brexit 6 years ago. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think about all of this. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.